Hi there. I hope you enjoyed the film. Gives you enough to think about for the rest of your life. Anyway, I'm glad that you're here and that you're watching. Please pardon me that I'm not going to look directly at you. I'm going to pay attention to what's in front of me because it's more fun. I've spent 23 years dealing with fucked up adults. And they're usually your parents. Or everybody else's parents. And it's part of the problem of what it is to be you, in a way. It's not about blame, by the way. It's not like it's anybody's fault. But if you don't know how things work, it makes things very difficult. It was kind of interesting this morning because, unfortunately, I don't have all of your charts. But one of the things that was really interesting was laying these charts out of the ones that Loki had given me. And on one side of the table over here are generators. And on this side of the table over here are projectors. Now, if you really know your design, those of you who don't have a chart here, then you can go to either end. That is, this is the energy side over here. And this is the non-energy side over here. And the thing that's so interesting is that generators and projectors, because most of you are either generators or projectors, they have an incredible relationship with each other. That is a very profound relationship with each other, which I can get to in a while. I just thought it was really cute to see the divide. All right, let me tell you something useful. Everything about what you do in this life, everything about what your life is going to be, depends on what you decide. It's your decisions that make a difference. If I was going to tell you that in terms of, something sophisticated, I would tell you that everything that exists is moving. Everything is moving. So if everything is moving, life is about navigation. This is what it's about. Every time you make a decision, you make a movement. And the moment you make that movement leads to all kinds of things. It can lead you down a road you never, ever get back from. It can lead you down a road that in the end you truly can't stand. It can lead you into relationships with people. It can lead you into careers. It can lead you into all kinds of things that are just simply not for you. And you don't want to wake up like the adults I deal with when they're 40 or 50 years old and they're wondering what the hell they did with their lives because they weren't doing what was right for them. See, my trip is that I teach people to have their own authority. That's what I do. I teach you to have your own authority so you can trust in yourself, that you don't have to depend on somebody else to tell you what's right for you or what's wrong for you. There's nothing wrong with guidance. There's nothing wrong with information. But you see, the things that you decide to do in your life, you're the only one who's got to live with them. Doesn't make a damn bit of difference what anybody else thinks, eh? You've got to live with your own life. And nobody wants to have a life in which they don't have the pleasure of it. A lot of people out there really have a hard time. Most people your age have the toughest time. You're old enough to be adult, but you're not allowed to be in a sense. The whole age game has changed. Most human beings aren't adult now until they're 40. And you're still dealing with all of this pressure. And it's a pressure that can make you very uncomfortable because you have to make fundamental decisions now in your life. Who's going to be your friend? Who's going to be your lover? Where are you going to go? What are you going to study? What are you going to do? And you have all these forces around you that are putting pressure on you. And that pressure isn't just something that's living out there on the outside. The pressure crawls into your head. And that's where it lives, in your head. Look at your design, those of you that have it. And if you don't have your chart with you, just think about it next time. Download one for free and look at it. If you look at the whiteness in your chart, the whiteness is that chocolate behind a window when you got the munchies, That whiteness is something that you really want because you don't have it. And you go, oh, I want that. Now, many of you know each other, okay? When you start looking at the way your charts fit together, you're going to begin to discover why you connect with people. Oh, they have that thing that I don't have. Oh, that's nice. And we end up being pulled to each other because of those things. But look, that thing that you don't have isn't you. It's not you. But that's what you want to become. This is what happens to people. They want to be that thing that they're not. And they get trapped and they get conditioned. All that white stuff that's in your chart, that's where people put their stuff into you. That's where they connect to you. That's where they put their trip on you. Think about the whiteness and think about what an amplifier is. You know when a guitarist has an amplifier? You know, if you crank up an amplifier, not only does it make the music louder, but if you really crank it up, it distorts. Now you see the whiteness that you have? Every time you take somebody else in who has what you do not have, you take that in and amplify it. Sometimes to the point of distortion. So let's say that you're somebody, if you look at the chart and you look at the bottom left-hand side, this is the solar plexus, this is the emotional system. Half of the people have it defined, colored in, and the other half don't. Now I'm one of those people that has an open, white, emotional system. So if you're angry with me, you know, and you're emotional, you better watch out. Because I'm going to amplify that, and I'm going to be a hell of a lot more angry than you. As a matter of fact, if you think that I'm really nice, I'm going to think you're even nicer. Which can be a real mistake in the morning, you know? Oh, I thought you were so nice, right? I thought. See, all that openness in you, these are where the traps are in life. This is where you get hooked. Now, it's okay that it's there, because after all, if it wasn't there, nothing would be interesting, eh? I mean, nothing would be interesting. That's the fun of life. We're here to explore all that. We're here to take it in. We're not here to have it control us. And you see all that whiteness? What that whiteness does is it lives up here in your head. And it's constantly telling you what to do based on what you don't have. It's constantly telling you what to do based on what you're not going to have. And that even if you got it, you would be very disappointed because it's not the thing for you. See, human design teaches that there's another place inside of you, instead of your head, where you can make a decision. Where you can make a decision. There's another place to make that decision. It's what I've been spending my life teaching people. I teach them, look, it's very simple. Stop trying to get an answer from your mind and get an answer from what's real. What's real is buried inside of this form that you have. See, we all have these different machines. They're bio-machines, eh? And we have basically 4 kinds of bio-machines. And here mostly we've got, you know, the generator machine. The generator machine is buzz, 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 right? I mean, you know your generator friends. Buzz, buzz, buzz. As a matter of fact, if you're a projector on this side and you're down, you need a generator friend to go buzz, 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 because then you amplify the buzz. You get really cranked up. You know, the danger is, of course, that you're riding on their energy. See, everybody's got something going on. If you're a generator, your energy is everything. See, there's something that's connected to every type. It's called signature. And signature is basically the reward of having your trip together. Okay? So if you're a generator and you're an energy type, the most important thing for you in your life is what you do with your energy. What you do with your energy. It's more important than anything else. Now, as a generator, you're here to respond. That is, if you go chasing after anything as a generator, you will never enjoy what you get to. Never. It will never be satisfying. You will meet nothing but resistance as you go along the way, and you'll end up being frustrated, because that's what generators have most of the time. Adult generators are the most frustrated beings on earth, you know? And they're frustrated because it's just not satisfying. Now look, the only way you're going to find something that's satisfying for you is that it's got to come to you. And it has to come to you, and you have to know that's right for you. It comes out of your authority. Generators are great at making sounds. Eh? You want to go out? Uh-huh. You know? That's a really good sound. And the whole thing to understand is that if what you're doing does not satisfy you, don't do it. And I don't care what it is. Don't do it. There's no point. There's no point. There's no point in doing things because you think you have to. There's no point in doing things because other people tell you that you should. They may be right. But for you, what matters is what's correct for you. See, look, if you're a generator and you don't get satisfaction out of what you're going to do, you begin to get problems, real problems. Because you keep on meeting resistance, you don't do well in the thing you're doing. It leads to a lowering of your self-respect. You no longer have a sense that, maybe this life isn't going to give me what I could get. Don't do that to yourself. See, the thing to understand as a generator is that you're here to have things come to you. It's what it's about. And at the moment that you enter into anything, what you do has to be satisfying. Don't do the things that don't satisfy you. Don't do them. Don't do them. Don't go out when you don't feel like going out. Don't do whatever the hell it is, that anything, whatever it is. Because you see, if it doesn't satisfy you, there's nowhere to go. Because you'll quit. Generators are the great quitters, They start something, they discover they don't really like it, they get incredibly frustrated and they say, fuck it, I don't want to do this, And they never end up finding out what is really for them, because a generator is somebody that masters things step by step by step, and you can't do that until you're in something that you love and satisfies you. The other thing is, most of you, some of you are lucky because I know some of you are obese people, but most people who are generators have really been messed up by the fact that their parents have controlled their sleeping. That is, generators are not allowed to have a bedtime. This is a law of human design. Generators are not allowed to have a bedtime. And it's something to understand about your energy. As a generator, you need to run your energy down each day. And honestly, you can't do that if you're doing things that frustrate you. If you're using your energy correctly, you're going to sleep better. It doesn't matter how long you sleep, by the way. What matters is that when you go to sleep, you're exhausted. Never go to sleep on somebody's clock, Never go to sleep on somebody's clock. You go to sleep when you're exhausted. Okay, let me go to the other side of the table. Projectors. See, projectors have a signature. And the signature for projectors is success. Success. In other words, if you're a projector, what matters for you in your life, that the things that you do bring you success. And they bring you success at every level that you can think about that. In other words, if you do something and you're not a success at it, if you fail at things, this is horrendous for you. And what it does is it brings bitterness into your life. And there's nothing worse than bitterness. Bitterness is a poison. It's a poison. So you have a very special gift, projectors. It really is. You are here to be guides. Guides. You have an ability to recognize. You have an ability to see things in others, to see things that are systematic. One of the most important things for you as projectors is to find that thing that you get to really study deeply. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be scholastic. It's not about that. It's finding that thing, that system that you can really master. Because the deeper that you go into mastering one thing, that's the thing that is going to give you power and success for the rest of your life. But you also have to be able to find it. The dilemma of being a projector is you're not an energy type. And what that means is that you're always going to be reliant on others to process things in your life. And those others are actually dependent on you because, in a sense, they're waiting for your direction. The ideal is when you see a projector and a generator working together, because they both give each other exactly what is necessary. Now, the whole thing about being a projector is understanding that because you're a non-energy type, you become super slave generators. In other words, you become the kind of people that run around like mad and never are really running around for any purpose whatsoever. You just get caught in the rat's maze, Zzz, nothing going on, right? And it's everybody else's energy. One of the things you have to understand is how sensitive your aura is to a lot of people. If you're a generator, generators have enveloping auras. When a generator walks up to you, before you even get near them, they're all over you. It's like a giant cosmic bear hug, right? They're all around you. And generators can take in multitudes in their bear hug, right? But a projector has an aura that is more like a bow and arrow. It goes like this. And it goes right into the other person. I mean, I can be in, you know, I'm doing this thing and there's a lot of people around. I can feel a projector at my back instantaneously. You know, it's like, whoa, because it goes right into you, because that's what you do. Now listen to what happens to you. If you're a projector and you've got two people in front of you, one of them is going to get pissed off with you. It's such a funny thing to watch, you know? And you can watch it over and over and over again. It's a real movie, right? Because the whole thing about a projector is perfect with one other person. They will give you the perfect attention. And it's their way of working. Nothing more confusing to a projector than a team, you know? A whole bunch of forces that they're trying to deal with at the same time because they cannot. If you see generators at a party, they're all huddled together in a kind of mush puddle, you know? And there are projectors off on the side, one-on-one with people. Because that's really the way it is. And by the way, for the manifester that's here, you sort of walk through and go out. We manifestors don't hang around very long in those scenes. You know, we find both generators and projectors to be aliens. You know, I mean, what to do? We're all different. See, the beauty of what it is to get rid of bitterness, because if you're a projector, you do not want to live with bitterness. You don't want that taste in your mouth. And you see, for you, it's always hanging over your head. It's like that sword, you know, in mythology that hangs over the head that says, could be a failure, could be a failure. The secret to you, you have to allow it to come to you. Projectors are here to be invited, formally. Formally. It's not about you looking for it. It's about you being ready. Because the one thing for you to understand is that you're always going to be recognized. You are always going to be recognized. I think it's the most difficult thing for young projectors to grab, because your aura is such that you're always going to bring recognition. There are always going to be people. I remember telling a friend of Loki's who was a projector to be very careful on the street, because he had the kind of costume the police like, you know. And I said to him, you're a projector. They're going to see you. You're standing out like a sore thumb. You know? Don't do that. And of course, it's the power of the projector. So don't worry about, you know, they're not going to see me and they're not going to recognize my talent and they're not. Don't believe a word of that. Don't put that in your head, because it's not the truth. The truth is that you will be recognized, but you have to be ready. You know, and the readiness again comes from, what do you do with your life? You know, all of these little decisions that you make, you have been in the most dictatorial environments. That's what childhood is. We all know that. It's the way it works. You know, and in that kind of an environment, you don't necessarily get the opportunity to really find your authority. You know, what is your power, your decision making. There's so many things in your life now. The tracks have already been set, haven't they? There's so much about your life right now in which you are powerless. And it's time for you to understand that that is not the case. Eh? You're not here to live that. You're here to discover what is correct for you. I mean, you're old enough, you're smart enough, and it's not a, you know, it's not the kind of thing that you need to be a rocket scientist to figure this stuff out. Really, it's simple. It's just about changing the way in which you deal with things. It's about understanding something very important about your mind. It's fun to watch, but don't trust it. Don't trust it. Minds are really good at looking at things. You know, I have a really good mind. It's really good at looking at things. It's useless for me. I don't let my mind tell me what to do. My authority comes out of my spleen. I'm a in-the-moment kind of hunch person. That's me. I don't know anything until it happens. We're all different. I used to trust my mind. It destroyed my life. It was awful. I was no good to myself, and I certainly wasn't good to anybody else. And it's what happens to most people. You know, what happens to most people is that they just get lost into life. You know, they get lost in that whole process, and they never get an opportunity to find out what's really there for you, for each and every one of you. Because each and every one of you have an enormous potential. I mean, you know, and that's not some kind of fairy tale story. You know, the fact is everybody has a potential. Most of them never touch it. Most of them never even know it's there. Most of them never have a chance to live it. You know, the beauty is to recognize that power in you, all of you. You know, to begin to understand that it's time for you to find that place inside of yourself that's going to tell you precisely what you need. When I started my work, I used to do a lot of readings, you know, thousands of people that I dealt with. And it really freaked me out. Because what freaked me out was they all hated themselves. I mean, really. People who just don't like themselves. Look in the mirror and wish they were something else. You don't want to be like that. Don't want to look in that mirror and wish you're something else. You want to look in that mirror and see something that you really like. And it's not something that you define by what other people think. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It doesn't matter what their opinions are, what their impressions are, what their this and that is. What matters is that the moment that you can take your life in your own hands, you can begin to trust yourself and you can begin to love yourself. The biggest trap in this point in your life is looking for somebody to love you. Be very careful. Be very careful. The fact that somebody loves you, you know, is not the point. The fact that you love yourself is really the point. You have to see it in yourself. It's nice to recognize that in others, but to see it in yourself. To know that you're worthy, to know that you don't need that love, that you don't need that friendship, that you don't need that trip, whatever it may be. To be so clear about that, because if you don't take control of your lives now, you'll never have control of your lives. You won't. And you'll spend the rest of your lives listening to other people tell you what the hell to do and push you this way and that way. This life is not an easy place, eh? These people that live out here in this world, they're all caught in this trap and they're helpless in it. And it's not what's here for you, and you're young enough that you don't have to have all this conditioned bullshit, you know, that others have. You have a chance to just break free. Obviously, I can't teach you everything in this. But as you saw in the film, if you go to the Jovian Newcomer Center, there's an enormous amount of stuff that's for free. Huge amount of stuff. If you go into the Jam Player, there's a free audio library, so you can learn about your type. You can hear me describe all of the different things that you have in your design. But the most important thing, the thing that I tell every adult, that I tell anybody that I work with, this is not about believing me. Don't believe me. This is not the trip. You know, it's the same thing. Don't believe anybody else. You have to experiment with this. You can see it for yourself. You experiment with it, you'll see. It will change the way in which your life works. It'll eliminate the resistance in your life. You'll be healthier, you'll be happier, and you'll be able to go in a direction that's your direction. See, I'm for everybody being unique. This is where the real magic is. It's not about comparison. It's not about who's better, who's this, who's that. It's about understanding that each and every one of us is special, really, truly special. And that specialness only comes out when we make it come out. Because nobody else is going to take it out of you. Nobody else is ever going to ask you to be unique. No one. They want you to be what they want you to be. So you have to define your own life. And this is a way that you can do it. It's a way that you can experiment with making decisions. It's really simple. That's all it's about. Those decisions in your life, those things that are going to matter for you, wait for them. Wait for them. Don't be afraid that they won't come. Wait for them. And begin to understand how you work. Projectors, you need a timeline. Very important for you. The most dangerous thing for a projector is to be exhausted. It's the most dangerous thing. And you're really susceptible to exhaustion. And it takes a lot of toll on your body, and it takes a lot of toll on your psychology. So if you're hanging out with a generator, by the time the generator goes to sleep, you're still cranking, because you're still riding their energy. And then you're the one who's totally exhausted when it's over. So make sure that you protect your energy system. So as a projector, don't get caught up in, you know, doing the all-nighters unless it's absolutely worthy. You know, make sure you get your sleep because it's essential for you. And in the end, it all comes down to one thing. It comes down to you. You know, it comes down to you taking responsibility for your life and making sure that, you know, the things that you do in this life are things that you love to do. You know, most people don't think that's possible. I know it's true. I've seen it over and over and over again. If you insist on being you, if you insist on it, you'll get to do those things that you love to do, that will fulfill you, that will bring you your satisfaction and will bring you success. It is the way that it goes. Right? To all of you out there that have been watching, I hope that you enjoyed that. And I hope you'll take this opportunity to really find out more so you can begin your experiment. And yeah. But remember, most of all, as I always say, all this is about loving yourself. You love yourself, you're going to have a good life. Okay. Bye from Abisa. Thanks for watching.
Put aside that old baggage and all your disbelieving.